Hello all and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I'm here in Ponytown with another wishlist video. That's right, I'm bringing back the wishlist videos. Well, sort of. I figured it's a new year and it's time to do another wishlist video, so I have 5 here today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to come up with any more, so if you have any ideas for things that you would love to see added to the Ponytown game, let me know in the comments below and I will add it to a list and perhaps make a video on that in the future. In addition, if you have any bad ideas, let me know in the comments below any bad ideas that you might have for the game, because I would love to make another bad ideas wish list video, because those are absolutely fun and hilarious to make. But let's get on to this wish list video. Like I said, I have 5, and let's move on to the very first one, which is quite simply better windows. I personally think we need way better windows than what we currently have in the game. The windows right now are just like this default like whitish color during the day, and they slowly get darkish to a like dark blue, navy blue, whatever you want to call it, when it's night. I think that's fine, and I kind of like that as an idea, but I also like the idea of being able to see through my window. So I would love it to be something similar to how The Sims work, where you can kind of snap it onto a wall and then you're able to see through that wall because you're seeing through the window, not the wall. Of course, this doesn't necessarily work with the whole like short walls things, but I imagine, again, like in The Sims, when you snap something to a wall, if you lower the walls, which you can do in The Sims, maybe I should make a video comparing like The Sims with Ponytown, because there's actually a few similarities. But anyway, when you do that, the windows and things on the wall disappear. So I think that would be something that would carry over quite well with Ponytown. So in addition to this, we would also need a way to snap things to the wall. But I think being able to see through the windows or something like that should be something that eventually comes to the game, because right now it's hard to call them a window because you can't see through them, and there's just nothing to it really. It's just a blank color essentially. I don't really like that. Overall, I think the sprite of it and everything like that could change. I think they can make it more similar to the ice. Maybe you can't see through it, but maybe it looks more like glass, if that makes sense. But speaking of walls and things like that, the next thing is quite simply combining short and tall walls together. That's right, I think this feature would be very handy. When tall walls first came out, it was this whole thing of like, oh, you might be able to make some more interesting mazes with that because you won't be able to see where you are exactly. Maybe you'll be able to work around it and create some sort of minigame. I've actually done that, by the way. And perhaps there's some other things that you can do that I haven't thought of yet or just can't think of at this moment. And nothing really came out of it. It's like something people basically never use, and it kind of makes no sense. It makes sense, I will give them that, but it doesn't make sense when you make a full-fledged house. The reason why it doesn't make sense when you make a full-fledged house is because when you have walls on all sides of this house, you kind of cover up a good chunk of that house, and it kind of becomes hard to see, even with the whole mechanic of like, oh, you're coming behind that wall so you can see through it a little bit like that. I think what they need to do is maybe instead of having the wall become transparent when you go behind it, maybe that wall just kind of goes all the way down and it becomes a short wall until you get past a certain point or something like that. That would be a good way to do that, I think. But overall, being able to combine short walls and tall walls in some shape, form, or fashion would just be absolutely game changer. It would make, taking images of your houses and things like that way easier to do, especially since, the back wall, the very far back wall, since it's a 2D game, you would kind of want to be tall, but the rest not be tall, because you can't really see the house. Like, if I make a house with like 3 rooms and then I turn on tall walls, you can't see any of those rooms, even if I'm behind one of the walls. So it kind of defeats its own purpose. It kind of defeats itself. It needs some form of change to where we can combine tall and short walls so that we can actually see what's going on in that house, and things like that. This next one, this third one, whatever you want to call this in the list, is actually very simple, and it's something that I personally feel like will eventually come. The reason why I say this is because this next idea is the ability to change the butt mark on both sides of your character. The reason why I think this is something that might actually end up coming is because lately we've been getting a lot of customization options and things like that to basically have like horn on one side and then a totally different horn on the other side, or an ear on one side and then a totally different ear on the other side. Same thing with the legs, all kinds of body patterns that do that. There's a way to split almost everything down the middle and have something different on one side than the other. We can even have 2 different wings, which is incredible. But we can't get a butt mark different on both sides of our body. I think this would open up a lot of customization options. People would do that for different things. I think it would be overall interesting. Obviously, the concept of it is to be more like a cutie mark and everything like that, so it might not come because of that, because cutie marks are the same on both sides regardless of how you do it. But currently there is a way to flip it on both sides or whatever like that, or to not have it flipped. So there's that option, but I think another option would be a simple little checkbox that we can hit hit a little checkbox there, and suddenly we can change the mark on both sides of our character. This would be really interesting for like weird fusion characters or something like that. Like if you wanted to make some kind of weird fusion character, like where you fused Skella with Birthmark or something like that, and they were like legitimately fused or whatever, and it wasn't just like some fan child or something like that. It was like a legit fusion. You could have like Skella's cutie mark on one side and Birthmark's cutie mark on the other or something like that, and I think that would be really cool for that. But also, like, you would have species options available, regiment options available, and overall just all kinds of crazy ideas that I might not be able to come up with right now. The Ponytown community is extremely creative, and giving them an option to change that on both sides would be absolutely game-changing for when it comes to creating characters, because it opens up, of course, many more possibilities, despite it being such a small, simple change. So I think we should be able to change the butt mark on both sides of the character. Both cheeks, if you will. This next thing on the list is probably something that is probably going to be called a dumb idea, a bad idea, and perhaps something that would only be seasonal. I don't really know, but this next idea is quite simply bad gifts. Little bad joke gifts, essentially, would be the idea. Maybe you get like something that like, I don't even know. Maybe it's something that like creates like stink lines, like a stink line sprite animation thing or something like that, and it's like, haha, it was actually a stink bomb that you found, haha, and you put that on your head, haha. Or maybe it's something that makes you look really dumb. Maybe it's like a dunce cap or something like that. You know, just weird random joke toys that you can unlock or something like that would be really nice and fun to have. Perhaps they could do that for some sort of April Fool's thing, or perhaps next year when they do toys again, perhaps they'll add a few joke gifts in there and everything like that. It's a very simple one, and I don't know the full scope of what these would be like, but I think having them, you know, be very ridiculous things that people would probably never want to wear, but also probably want to wear because of how ironic it is or how funny it is or something like that. And also just because of the funny fact of like, oh, I really want to get this bird toy, and then you open the gift and it's like a random stink bomb thing on your head, or a dunce cap on your head, or some other random joke toy that makes no sense, or makes sense but is something that would make you look kind of ridiculous, you know what I mean? So joke gifts, like weird random joke gifts, would be really funny. It can also be something as simple as when you try to open a gift, it opens up some random thing, and it just like plays the animation like you're opening something, but it doesn't put anything on your head, and you just get this notification that says, haha, get pwned, or something like that. I don't know. I think that would be funny, but just joke gifts, I think that'd be a nice one to have, just because of how funny it would be. And yeah, like I said, maybe just some kind of limited time April Fool's thing where none of the gifts actually work or something. That would be kind of neat. But here we are at the last thing on this list, the fifth thing on this list, and this thing on the list is other kinds of houses. Right now we have the same house that we've had since the very beginning of like party houses and everything like that. It's not really changed that much at all. It has changed very slightly, and it actually has. You may not believe that, but it actually has changed very slightly over the years. But we haven't ever gotten an option to do like a different house. It has to always be that same exact house. So I think having some kind of cool little thing where like maybe it's sort of like the paintbrush thing where you paint it and it becomes a different house. Maybe it's different colored houses. Maybe some of them look like they have 2 stories, but they don't actually have 2 stories. Maybe some of them have chimneys. Maybe some of them don't. Maybe some of them are made of different materials than others, like such as brick, such as wood, such as like stone, or maybe even ice if you wanted to go that far. Just all kinds of things like that. Perhaps one house has more of a what is that roof tile? It's like roof tiles kind of look to it instead of the straw thing to it. All kinds of ideas can come up when you try to, you know, re-customize the party house and everything like that. And I think giving us more houses would be really nice. I'm not saying to allow us to put more than one house on an island. That would be great as well, and honestly I would love to see that happen. And it was something that I believe was in the game for a brief moment on the test server, but it was ultimately removed when they finally gave us, you know, full island customization, because the little test server there where Patreon supporters can join in and do everything like that. I remember they were able to place multiple houses on their party island. They were able to place like flowers and things like that on their party island, and these things were removed when the, you know, thing actually ended up coming out. You know, the actual island update finally came out. Those things were removed because there was issues with it. So I can imagine eventually we would probably get, you know, 2 houses, 3 houses, however many houses we want to put on the island. But we did get the flowers. I don't know, that's a weird thing. But anyway, being able to get multiple different kinds of houses, even if we could only place one on our island, would still be really nice, because maybe we want a stone house, maybe we want this wooden house, maybe we want the default house, I don't know. But giving us the option to choose between them would be really nice. And yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. I like I said, I just think it would be really nice. It would also be a nice detail if like the default house on the inside of those, like, you know, different homes would be different. So like the rooms are shaped different, maybe different furniture is in it or something like that. That'd be kind of a nice little detail if you had like a change it or something like that. But that would be going a little bit extra far and beyond. But that's going to do it for the video. I do hope that you enjoyed. Like I said, I don't have any more than this. So if you want to see any more, let me know your ideas in the comments below, and I'll add it to my list and perhaps make a video on it. If you have any bad ideas, like I said at the beginning of the video, let me know that as well, because I would love to do another bad ideas wish list video, because not only are those a lot easier to make, because it's a lot easier to come up with bad ideas than good ideas, but they're very hilarious and fun to make. So, like I said, that's going to do it for the video. I do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please do like, subscribe, and share, and do all of those wonderful things like that, because when you do those wonderful things, you get access to wonderful content such as this. But that's not all you get. That is not all you get at all. You also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.